Howdy, folks. Hope you're having a great Sunday afternoon. We're here in the Burnson backyard, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about some early spring planting. And a few years ago, we switched up our backyard, and we kind of live in the side of a mountain, so there's not much backyard here. And we made it all raised beds. And the reason that we did that was so that we could grow some stuff, because there's not a whole lot of place on our property for growing. And our backyard's kind of wet, so it wasn't a great place for like hanging out per se. So we put some topsoil and mushroom soil in these beds a few years ago, and they are in desperate need for filling. You can see that the beds are really low inside the lip there. But even so, I wanted to try to start some crops. And unfortunately, the last year that we planted last year and the year before, we had a major slug problem. And partially, again, that's where we live. They were consuming tons of our crops and tasty vegetables, and a chipmunk problem. So I got kind of frustrated with that with the raised beds, but we're going to try it again here and see what we can get. We'll set some more chipmunk traps this year, put out some more slug bait, and yeah, try it out. So I just tilled up about a half of a bed here to start with, and I am planting my first crop. And you might say, oh, Mrs. Burnson, it's a little bit early for that. It is true, it is early, but there's one crop that really does well rather early outside, and that is peas. And it recommends that you can start them when the weather's still cool. My dad had a neighbor who they'd always say, April 1st, got to start your peas. So I'm a few days late. But they're pretty simple to plant. I had some left over from a project that we did in school. And always read your instructions on the back of your package when you are planting, to make sure that you're planting them properly. But the peas, like it says, it can be as soon as the soil can be worked, so as soon as it's thawed, and it wants to have you plant them in a well-drained soil, so we'll see how that does here. Plant the seeds about 1.5 inches deep and 3 to 4 inches apart in rows 24 inches apart. Germination should take place in 6 to 10 days. And this variety should be staked, and we should thin them, and it says to mulch them to reduce weeds. So you can see I already have my first row in the ground here, and I've put them in there so that they're all ready to go. I'm just ready to cover them with soil here and get my first crop started. So like I said, pretty excited about that. I'm going to plant about 3 rows in this half a raised bed. Might plant some other things in here this week, and if I do that, then I'm going to make sure that I have a cover that goes over it, so it makes like a little mini greenhouse. And I'm also going to plant some seedlings in the greenhouse this week in some seed trays, and perhaps get some of those to some of you guys. So all right, you guys have a great afternoon. Bye.